All right, all right. Hello, hello. Welcome everyone back to kind of like a upside down in between happy hour show time. Big K, how you doing this morning?
I'm fantastic. I'm glad to be here. Glad to be doing a little morning stream, change it up.
Yeah.
It's
Well, for those
depends on
on
where you are,
yes, exactly. For those on the socials, I guess our guest was revealed this morning. So
Oh, well, then we all
you know,
know that.
you'll understand why we're doing it at this time. So
I
who's
think someone's at the door.
who's there? All right. Well, let's find out. Can somebody get the door? Oh, okay. Hey,
you,
Jexxa,
you guys are
what's going
stepping
on,
up.
man?
You guys are stepping up the production value here. Well done.
little bells and whistles every now and then. So yeah,
Just an extra flavor.
10 a.m. here, 10 p.m. down there. So we figured if we balance the times right, we could still call this a happy hour show because the time would fall right around that time. So we'll just pretend.
And it's a much happier. It's a much happier hour for me rather than doing it at 5 in the morning. So I'm happy for that.
I feel that.
Yes.
I'm just gonna bump my VPN off. I think we've got a bit of a delay. I'm just gonna kill it. Just hopefully it'll make things better. Just give me a sec. You might lose me just for a second.
While he's doing his thing, Big K, I know it's like 10 a.m., but what are you drinking? We still gotta ask.
Oh, I have a glass of just straight Bailey's on the rocks, but I also have a little coffee that I was gonna, a little espresso that I might, not usually a coffee person, but when I thoroughly drench it in Bailey's, I'm in. So
understandable. I've had my coffee this morning, so we have today. We're gonna have some bullet for breakfast.
Ooh, bullet for breakfast. She's getting right into it. Nice.
Bullet 10 year, actually. So I've had this neat, but curious to try it on the rocks because it's got a little heat on the back end of it. So curious to see how this goes.
Cool.
Yeah,
fiery feels.
If I had that,
so what do you got down
breakfast, that would be the end of my day.
Well, are you drinking anything before night?
No, I'm not actually. I was expecting you guys to come on here, with a coffee, and so I didn't bring a drink with me. I felt
like I said, I'm not usually a coffee drinker, but if we can get some Bailey snuck in there, and there's an excuse to do it,
All right,
my wife is like,
cheers.
Yeah, cheers. She was like, wait, what are you doing today? And I was like, Bailey's in the morning. It's 10 a.m. happy hour. Okay.
That's the ticket right there.
Yep.
Over a couple cubes on the rocks. Yeah, takes that back end heat right out. Awesome. Pro tip for all y'all.
So you guys had a little bit of a break for a little while there with the happy hour, and you're back into the swing of things?
I mean, we've done like a show a month on average, I think.
So usually we try and
we never left, but just I guess
when there's less to talk about, you just might as well go to the beach and hang out and take some time off.
Yes. Yeah. And I've been saying, I guess, for the past couple shows, I mean, there's a lot of things in the works on PulseChain, so it's getting to be plenty to talk about. And I've said we're going to have various founders on to talk all sorts of cool stuff, because anybody who watches this show knows that I love utility, and there's a lot of things in the pipeline, and we're going to talk to Jexxa about what he has going on. But I guess while the room fills up a little bit, just current thoughts on where we are and the markets, crypto markets. What do you think?
I've been blindly optimistic for the last 2 years, but I haven't changed. But it's been a rough ride, that's for sure. I just keep, and what you're about to talk about as well was all the utility stuff and everything that's getting built. Like, I'm still so positive on what's happening behind the scenes, because I know a lot of what's happening behind the scenes. And I talk to other people that are building things, and everyone's busy doing stuff, which is, there's a lot of value getting built into the chain.
And that's what we need for users, for sure, because, there's, it's pointless if cool stuff isn't being built. It's like, why are people going to come here for an actual chain? Yes, it was technically, born out of the idea of let's lower the hex, end stake fees, but it quickly ballooned into a lot of good stuff and a lot of bad stuff and TBD stuff and plenty of that kind of stuff.
I think if you people will follow the green candles, but they'll stay when they realize that there's other things on the chain and there's things they can do. And so got to get the eyeballs and give them something that attracts them over here. And I think we all know that charts that go up tend to do that. It's funny how people chase green candles, like they'll dump everything and move across to get the tail end of a run of something that's pumping into oblivion. But people seem to like to do that. So I think that's the best form of advertising, isn't it?
Yeah, well, speaking of advertising, I want to get your all's takes now that the outrage marketing devices have been out in the wild for weeks now. Big K, looks like you have some thoughts. Hey, you've got
the inside track, have you?
I do not have the inside track. I just happened. So there's quite a bit of to do in the neighborhood here. For several people have gotten these in the area here. So I don't know. Like I'm not privy to who's sending what, where, or whatever, but they've taken this area by storm. My daughter came home from school and was like, "There's a kid using it at school. This teacher that I know is using it. People have the device are not throwing them away. They're not. They're at the very least.
Are these non-crypto people that are?
No, very much non-crypto people. Most of cool. I mean, like that's the neighborhood chat was like, "Hey, did anybody get these things?" And so I had to chime in and be like, "I did not send these to you guys, but if you'd like to know some more information, you may DM me. This is not the forum for it. I get it, but happy to tell you. I had a good little prepared statement written up. Hopefully the community. Where's my statement?
That's good. Like, it obviously works.
Yeah. So I get a few people that have messaged me. But we'll see. We'll see.
Do you have the device there with you?
Oh, you know what? No, I don't. My children both have them.
Good at showing and telling. So
hang on a second. Hang on. Maybe you might TBD. Give me 30 seconds, maybe a minute, because the kids had them, but I think I know where one is.
Oh, all right. I haven't had a big show and tell in a while.
Just off the engagement we've had with Gabriel, was it Gabriel Haynes?
Yeah. The angry guy. Stop sending me this. Yeah.
But that was the perfect guy for one to land in his lap, because he's just so loud and will hang shit on it. But like, even when he's hanging shit on it, I don't think there's hate in what he's trying to do. Like, he obviously knows he's going to get a lot of engagement.
Oh, the engagement, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's what he's all about. That's his account. So yeah, I think he's going to get a lot more stuff by the sounds of it.
Oh yeah, well, he did put his PO box out there, so people.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
I guess what was it yesterday? Like the hex coins or something like that, or the day before.
T-shirts and I think that's going to be the beginning of. I mean, what did Peter McCormack got? He got something way worse than that. Do you remember what was sent to him?
No, I do not. But
he got a turd in a box.
Oh, okay, yeah. Does that company still do that? There's a company out there that I forget what the name of it was, but you could actually do that. But I thought that maybe somebody sued them or something like that. So maybe somebody just manufactured their own. But you could really get like dung in a box and ship it to somebody. You could do like glitter bombs and all that sort of stuff. So, which I think is worse because I can't stand glitter. Big K, you are back. And what is this little device?
So here's one in the wild. Here's one. Well, these are the children. Had some doodles here for you. And in true fashion, we didn't take Richard's advice, and the pencil is already gone. I don't know. I looked around. I couldn't find it anywhere. So, I advise those that get these to, bring your own string and tie your pencil to this, because it does, the little pencil device, like my finger, definitely draws much thicker than the pencil does. The locking mechanism works fantastic. We're going to erase it all right now. Ooh, look at that.
Look at that.
Look at that. But my finger is very fat versus the line. I will say that I was able to etch quite nicely on this. The resolution is fantastic.
Excellent. Thank you for that presentation.
Yeah, get your. I even told people in the neighborhood. I was like, somebody asked about it, and I was like, I don't know. I sent them the eBay link. I was like, just in case you're interested in making a buck or two, you might want to list it quick.
It honestly doesn't take much to make people happy when you get stuff like that in the mail. Like the stupidest of things will hang around.
It's a real live free gift, people. It is. They're $8 on Amazon. They're free right here. So
it's not often you get something without any catches. So
unless, of course, you happen to be staking your Pulse, in which case you did. If you're staking it through Vouch, then you did get quite a bit of something for free.
Yeah, you got a few things for free.
A few things. I had a few million things for free, and that was really cool. So I'm what you'd call a fan of what you guys do.
Cool. We're getting there, Big K. Calm down on the Baileys, all right?
Okay. I'm sorry.
He's already had breakfast before he got on, I
think. We were talking about, I guess, marketing, and the reason that Big K brought out that tablet is because Jexxa brought up, another type of marketing, which is green candles. So, it was talked about, when these devices went out, well, would be cool if like green candles appeared, when would be the best time for them to appear? It's like before people start getting the devices, after, during. And I didn't really think like before would be the best. Like, you want to get these things distributed, give a lot of people a chance, perhaps at a good price. Yeah, it's cool if they go, or it would be cool if they went to the websites and they saw the chart go up and to the right. So
yeah,
that can happen in time, but they can also be a part of that ride right now. And that's is the cool thing.
I mean, if I want to play out a scenario in my mind about how, like,
I like this, please do.
This works in real time fashion. Like, you're giving these out to large swaths of people. So there's like a whole neighborhood here that that has these things in their hand. And like a tiny the chart is not appealing. The infighting, if you get might not be your favorite. Like the first things you might see might not. First of all, okay, this isn't exactly like everyone's first question. Could I buy this on crypto.com or Coinbase or whatever? And I'm like, we're getting there. So then I have to do all that. So like, it's difficult to get at. There's many reasons to not be like, the chart isn't just straight up and to the right. All those things that like provide you have to believe to get in early, and then when somebody does, that there's going to be another neighbor, another person that, like, once the chart goes up 2x, 4x, the guy's going to be like, guy, do you get that thing and buy the stuff? And like, that's stupid and dumb. And they're going to be like, all right, sure, sounds good. And then when things are up 10x, they're like, hey, just revisiting. I just got this, this sick new car, and then I'll be like, that's dumb. And like, at some point in time, other people in the area are going to be like, man, a stupid tablet thing. I might have should have, and like more people are gonna buy. More people are gonna.
Like, you got in on that? Yeah, I got
Mhm.
back in. When it was sent out originally. Oh man, you think I could still get in? Well, they're still being sent out. That kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. We still got some of the. I mean, it even says right on our little message, you're getting some of you're one of the first people in the world to receive this device, with many more shipping soon. So, like, I imagine that message, when we're halfway through this next year or so, will change. But
so are you going to get in on the first double or the 13th double? And I think the FOMO will kick in when, like, because you've had a touch point where, and every day your kids bring this tablet out and you see Hex or Pulse or whatever. So it's just slowly, just subconsciously, you're absorbing that, and then you'll look at a chart one day and go, oh yeah.
People really do not. Yeah, people don't really understand the power of suggestion as well as I think that it really works. So if you're not privy to this, gentleman, I do highly recommend some people, if you're like, oh, that's all bullshit, right? Go watch or learn about this dude who's like a British showman, magician, kind of whatever, but his name's Darren Brown. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but he's really he engages in everything, street magic-y stuff, but really what he's doing more than anything is neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, and so he basically gets people, is so good at working your computer-like brain that he gets you to create a story in your mind about why you want the thing that he told you that you wanted, and people think it's their own fair free choices all the time, and he goes on talks with clinical psychiatrists, psychologists that are yeah, what he's doing is legit. It's it's super suggestive, and not everybody. It's just like hypnotism. Not everybody falls victim to it, but a lot of fucking people do, and the people that do the easiest are the people that don't believe in it the most. So I mean, in I bring this up because in one of his videos that was super poignant for me when I was much younger was that he takes a supermarket planogram guy, the guy who purposefully tries and manipulates people for a living. And he sends them a prediction before their interview. And on the prediction, on the outside of this envelope is this squiggly little drawing, right? And they go on an interview in the show, and he walks them through a grocery store, and they talk about a bunch of stuff. And then when he goes, now I want you to walk through the grocery store and pick one item, fair free choice of anything you want for whatever reason, and come bring it back here. And of course, the guy brings back, of course, exactly what he says. He puts a note on his back that says it. But more interesting than that was that when they take the route that this guy walked through the supermarket and matched up that squiggly drawing that this guy had just had on this envelope outside, that he had just seen casually for the past 2 weeks, perfect exact match. This dude just subconsciously, you get that shit in your brain and you can't stop it. You are a computer, and you see the pattern, you could repeat the pattern. It's just human nature, And so that, when I saw that, you realize real quickly, oh man, people are influenced so hard, especially with stuff like that.
And that's what big tech have realized ages ago, where they call it nudging. They just keep slowly nudging you where they want you to end up. Yeah, so it's a legit thing. So I think I know there was a lot of heat came out in the community. What's this piece of shit? And I think everyone had it in their heads that it was going to be like a hardware wallet loaded with heaps of free coins. That was never going to happen. And I didn't have high expectations. If it was a digital postcard, I was like, cool, that's a novel idea. But I thought this one was a cracker. It's so simple that it actually works. If you had have asked anyone else in the community to come up with an idea, I don't think they would have come up with anything as impactful. So I think he nailed it. I think it's good.
Yeah, bang for buck. It's super impressive. I mean, I'm like I said, there's kids and teachers at a school nearby here just using it just because it works. It's your scratch pad that you're just doing math on or whatever, but it's still there doing its thing. It's great. I'm thrilled with it, and I can't wait to see the next level of, because it's there's always another way to prod at people and hit them with a different type of media, and the last time we had Hex went on a run. I mean, you didn't just see you saw advertisements of several different places, in print, on cabs and on buses
billboards
and stuff, billboards. You definitely saw it places. So
yeah, it was at an English football match as well, or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was on the things all around the side. Yeah, and that's the thing is that like the more same thing. We get those 6 or 7 or 8 touches before you know it, and people are like they think they're very aware of it without even knowing it.
And that was even that marketing back then. That was firing up all the haters, and it just generates so much more engagement online. It's
free
the haters. The haters will bring so much more free views. It's awesome.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to shout out everyone. We have so many viewers on the X. If you have any questions coming up for Jexxa, we're going to talk some Vouch here very shortly. Come on over to YouTube, throw them in the chat. And numbers are going up. So good to have everybody in here. Couple Miss Exquisite. Good evening to Jexxa. Good morning to us, Big K. Tam specifically calling out Big K and I. Hello, my lovelies. Hex Mole, he's a voucher. David Murphy, thanks for reposting. RH Max, good to see you, sir. Eagle AI, good morning, good morning. So, I guess let's get into a little Vouch there, as Hex Mole brought up, Jexxa. I mean, Big K actually mentioned it as one of his favorite, maybe up and comers or new to the chain last show. But that was just a mention. Thankfully, you're here to explain how it came about, the ideas behind it, the benefits of it. As I said before, pretty much every show, I love utility, and I think it'd be great for the community to explain everything about it.
Yeah, cool. So I think we're over this cycle. We've seen obviously a big wave of all the meme coins, and everyone, they're good to chase because they're very simple in essence, and you can make gains. You can do your shirt just as quickly on meme coins. And I think when you have narratives like that running, people tend to forget about a lot of the utility plays. And I think over time, hopefully people see the value in the utility plays. And if you can build the utility plays with good tokenomics, that's when you can get some really cool wins. So I don't think these days it's just enough to have a cool utility. You've got to want to make people want to hang around and hold your tokens, especially if it's for governance and things like that. So I hope we see a lot more protocols and products come out on the chain like that. I think we're getting a good swag of them. So that was the essence for Vouchers. That's what I wanted to bring is for me to really get behind something, there's got to be some underlying value that it's bringing. So that's sort of why Vouch was sort of born in the first place. Was I didn't want to launch something for the sake of launching. I wanted to bring some value to the chain. So I guess going back 10 months ago or 11 months ago was when we launched the liquid staking component. So you can get your Pulse and stake it, hold the liquid staking token, and essentially capture the yield that PulseChain generates. And we weren't the first to do that. The Project Pies came out and done that, and I think then we sort of came along, and then the Validator X guys have come along after that. So there's 3 protocols on the chain like that now, which I think is good. It's healthy to have that. You want a good sort of bit of healthy competition there and a good spread. So shout out to all those other teams that have done something similar as well. We don't see ourselves as competitors. I see we're all on the same chain. We're all bringing value to the chain. So I hope everyone does really well with those particular projects. And I think we'll probably there's some stuff going on with Validator X guys that we'll probably end up integrating into our protocol at some time as well. So all the teams sort of talk in the background. If I ever start waffling too much, just pull me up if you've got questions and things like that.
Yeah, man. So, who built this? Are you allowed to say? Because I think he's a community member.
So there's a couple of different components. So the liquid staking component, that was already up and running on Ethereum and on a couple of other chains in a slightly different format. And that's the Staffy guys. So they're a team based out of Singapore. So I work very closely with those guys. And so it's not necessarily a fork. It's more of it's a partnership, I guess, with those guys where I work with them. They launched the factory contracts on PulseChain, and then I've launched the liquid staking component off the back of that. So that relationship's still very much intact, and it's we're actually working a lot more with their community at the moment, trying to get some eyeballs from their other chains and where they've got holders, trying to sort of introduce them to Pulse and Vouch and get them across. So we'll keep working on that component. But you're right, the second phase, which was the actual Vouch token, the governance token, which launched 4 weeks ago now, I think. That was by some people that most people would recognise in the community, and that's Rags or Brandon. So his team build the tech, and they're behind a number of different projects on PulseChain and on the Ethereum side.
Yes, they are.
Great bunch of fellas. When you're picking a development team, if you get that wrong and you go with the wrong people, that can be an absolute disaster, because you joined at the hip for a long time when you're doing these sorts of things. So I've been really lucky. I can't say enough about those guys. They're all great bunch of blokes, very professional, and we've got a pretty good working relationship where we're on a daily basis we're communicating. So those guys have been awesome. So if you are looking for development work, consider them, but don't take up all their time, because I still need it.
And they are in the process of doing a lot right now. So I think,
they've got some big, keep an eye on them. They've got some big things coming.
Yeah. And we hope to have more of those on here. We had cryptographics on with Unity, I guess, maybe a month ago or so. So that was fun. And like you said, there's more in the pipeline. Some that I've heard some really cool stuff about. Others that are being kept close to the chest there, the vest. So there's a lot of stuff being built on PulseChain. Going back to our, what we opened the show with, it's like, if you want people on the chain, you got to build cool stuff, and there's no shortage of it. So and so we're getting a lot of good competition in terms of on ramps and bridging type utilities and things like that. And every time we reach out to one of those teams, like the Liberty Swap guys, they were awesome. They've instantly made sure VPulse was on there, and they've got to do a couple of upgrades before they can support the Vouch token, but they did try to get that on there initially, but they need a bit of downtime so they can upgrade their contracts. The Pulse Swap guys were awesome. They made sure that we had a really smooth launch. They made sure that we were properly integrated and just making swapping easier for users. So it's nice to see all that sort of goes on in the background and the teams helping each other. So I can't say enough. Everyone that I've been involved with in the background has just been absolutely awesome and trying to make everything a success. I can't thank everyone enough. Yeah. Well, I guess, can we get just like a why this exists? Like, why? What's the point of it? What is the actual utility? Because I've heard people be like, well, I already run validators, or why is another protocol need to exist? And you mentioned there are multiple that are in that field. And in addition to my questions, we start to have some in the chat here, and I see hundreds of people on X. If you want to ask a question and have us see it, hop over to YouTube really quick and ask it there. But tell us the why and kind of like the quick and dirty of it.
Okay, so the why for me was I want to build the world I want to see. So if I want proper DeFi and be able to transact without banks and things like that, I want to contribute to building that. So that was the personal why for me. The why do the liquid staking side of things. I'm pretty technical in nature. I've done a lot of systems and networking engineering. I'm able to run up a validator, and even for me, was a pretty steep learning curve. Like, you've got to learn a lot, and you've got to put a lot of, you've got to buy the hardware, then have battery backups and things like that. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into running a validator if you want to do it properly. The average person,
I know how to do it, and I never wanted to do it. I appreciate you so much, because I can now.
Yeah, but we thank those, as we've said, Big K. We thank those in the community.
Salute to all those doing the hard work. By all means, my apologies for interrupting.
Yeah. So someone's got to run the validators. We're happy to, and it gives everyone that doesn't have that technical expertise the chance to participate in the native yield that the chain produces. Like, if you're not running your own validators, you're missing out on that yield that is just produced by PulseChain every day. So how about we make it so that everyone can get a piece of that? And by coming along and participating in the liquid staking protocol, you are actually adding to the security of the network. So you're doing a couple of things. You're staking your pulse, which is taking a lot of pulse off the market. So that's nice. People are essentially locking up their pulse and removing that from sell pressure. You're adding to the adding to the security of the network, because we're firing up more validators, so that's more security across the network. I think just those 2 points alone are good enough just to want to be involved. Is you get paid for being involved, and if you're sitting on lazy pulse, put some of it to work.
And paid well. I mean, as I've been onboarding people, it's like a part of my layers, like I get people involved and get some pulse. And then at a later point in time, I'm like, hey, you've been sitting with this pulse for a minute. Let me teach you how to use it. And then I'm like, if you want to participate in Validator, and I'll open the Vouch site and be like, current APR is 13% right now. Over the past year, it's been 11%. And most people's are like, I would like some of that. And you're like, I bet you would. This is how, it sells itself. It's decent yield,
So I think just
feel free, Jexxa, if you want to pull up the site. I mean, I'd be glad.
I'll show you a few things. And people say, what should I do? I say, well, just go test it out. Just have a go at using it. You can put in as little as 10,000 pulse, which is, I don't know what that is, a couple of cents or something, isn't it? I don't know. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't really, financially, it's very easy to have a go at it without sort of too much exposure, and then just see how it works and see how easy it is. It's literally press one button and forget about it. But happy to show you some of the sites or talk about what we've done with Vouch.
Well, I was going to say, if I was going to ask to have you go through anything, it's that new Vouch site, because there's a lot of statistics on there for people to see. Yeah, it's really action packed.
Okay, the dashboard. All right. Okay, before I show you the dashboard, I'll take you back and show you. I've got a diagram that explains it pretty clearly, so you can see the components and how they fit together. Then I'll show you how that ties into the dashboard. That's probably an easy way to do it. Because it's harder to talk about things. I think it's easier to do a bit of a visual. So let's do that. Just give me 1 second. I'll get a screen up and share that with you.
Highly recommend that 10-year on the rocks, by the way.
Window. Let's go with that. Okay, so you should have a share there.
Yeah, it takes a second for me to.
And I'll just flick forward. Okay, cool. All right, so I've skipped over all the detail around the liquid staking system, and otherwise we'll be here all night. But essentially this is the component that's been up and running for 10, 11 months, is the liquid staking component. If you're a user out here with Pulse in your wallet, you deposit it into the liquid staking contracts. You get given a token in exchange for your Pulse called vPulse, and that represents your stake in the entire system. So as your Pulse is deposited in here, we have validators that pick the Pulse up. They put it to work by staking it on the actual PulseChain, and every day we get Pulse rewards come in from those validators and hit this system. And those rewards are divvied up between the validators, and the people that hold the VPulse token. So you don't get more VPulse every day. What you do is the pulse that's sitting in this contract and is coming back from awards just increases how much pulse you can get out when you eventually redeem your VPulse. So every day VPulse is going up against pulse. So if you put it in one day, let's say you put in one pulse and you got one VPulse out, and then you came back 12 months later and you redeemed your one VPulse, you wouldn't just get your one pulse back, you would get maybe two pulse back, or 1.5 or whatever it is. Yeah. Yep. So you would capture all that yield that the validators have been generating. So that's pretty much how we've been operating for the last 10 months or so. And yields sort of anywhere between 10 to 12%. What we've done over the last 4 weeks is we launched the Vouch token, and the Vouch token is the value capture token. So it will capture a lot of the value of the entire system, but more importantly, it's the future governance token. So if you hold that, you'll have a say in what happens on the Vouch protocol. Along with that Vouch token that we launched a series of contracts which we call a distribution layer, and all that does is just routes value around the system. So we've got a few revenue streams that we can route around and do some cool things with, and that looks a little bit like this. So as the validators are processing blocks on the chain, they get a type of reward called a priority fee award. So every time you're sending a transaction on PulseChain, you pay a fee. That's what you see as sometimes the fee's expensive, sometimes it's cheap. All those little priority fees you're paying when you're sending those transactions, they all get bundled up into a block. And if you're the validator that produces that block, you get a portion of those fees. So what we do is that priority fee revenue gets dumped into the top of the distribution layer. So think of it like a big bucket. Just all the revenue from the validators doing that block production will go into there. And on our Vouch token side, this is actually a fee-based token. So there's buy and sell and transfer fees. And those fees that are generated from the activity on that token actually tip into the top of the distribution bucket as well. So you've got these two forms of revenue that come into the system, and I'll show you those on the dashboard in a minute. It's what we do with those revenue streams that sort of, I think, is a pretty clever way to run a protocol. So a portion of those fees that are hitting the distribution layer pop back out here and are used to create what we call community validators. So these are validators that will just be essentially owned by the protocol. The cool thing is, when you fire up these validators, they produce more yield, which tips into here, which means we can create more validators and create more yield. So we can just basically keep this going forever. The more activity there is on PulseChain, the faster this revenue stream works. So that they're just like a little army of buying bots. They'll just keep producing more pulse from the chain and feeding it back into the protocol. The other things we do with the revenue streams, we do a lot of buying and burning, and that's been pretty aggressive. We've burnt over 2% of the Vouch token supply already. So that's quite aggressive. We can burn VPulse. It's probably not as attractive to burn VPulse. So we're more focused on actually putting a bit of buy pressure on the Vouch token. And the other cool thing which people seem to like is distributions. So at the moment, so we can deal with 3 tokens. We can deal with the Vouch token, the VPulse token, or the Pulse token. And we can send that out to various players in the ecosystem. At the moment, if you hold the Vouch token, you get a feed of Vouch and a feed of VPulse in your wallet. You don't have to do anything else. It just arrives when it reaches a certain amount. It'll just get sent out to your wallet.
No claim button necessary for any of that, right?
No claim button necessary. You can force a claim if you want, because it goes into
if you want it like early before it hits the amount.
Yeah, that's right. So before it hits the threshold where it's going to automatically send it out, if you're in a hurry, you can send yourself a transaction and it will
is the threshold? What is that threshold? Or is it changed for each, probably different for each one?
Yeah, it changes for each token because they've all got different sort of dollar denominations and things like that. Mm-hmm. So the Vouch token, it's about 100,000 Vouch. It will go into sort of pending, and as soon as you click over the 100,000, then it'll distribute it, and it doesn't do everyone at once. It sort of goes into a queue, and that's just for gas reasons. So you'll see that hit your account quite regularly. Obviously, depends how much Vouch you're holding as to how quick you hit that threshold. More Vouch, quicker you'll hit the threshold. On the VPulse side, don't quote me, I think it's like 20,000 VPulse or something like that, and then you'll get your distribution. And we're not actively sending out Pulse at the moment, and I don't know that we ever will, but it's a feature there that we thought we'd build in while we were at it. It just doesn't make sense to send out Pulse. I'd rather send out VPulse. At least it's the same thing. You're just getting a yield-bearing token instead of Pulse. So it makes more sense to send out the VPulse. And we can do things like auto add to liquidity pools and a few other neat little things that we can do as well. So that's the Vouch ecosystem as it stands now. A few other little things in the works, but I won't get into those just yet because I'd rather wait till they're actually delivered. But yeah, still a few more things that are going on in the background, and all with a.
Oh, sorry. No, you can finish it.
And all with a view to moving towards phase 3, which is the DAO and the governance side of things. So once we get the governance side, then this all the value that's getting captured in this whole ecosystem, it is getting captured by the people that hold the Vouch token, and obviously the VPulse holders are getting rewarded along the way as well. So if you're in the ecosystem, I'd think you'd like to sit on both sides, have a little bit of staked Pulse and have a little bit of Vouch, and then it doesn't matter what happens in the ecosystem, you're a winner either way.
Couple questions.
Yep.
The rewards for Vouch holders right now, is there does the dash, do we have does it have like a rolling, what the APY is for that going forward? And
okay, I'll show you the dashboard and then we can.
Okay, cool. It's
probably the short answer is there's no APY calculation.
Oh, because it's like kind of, what is it? It's probably pretty dynamic based on how people are using the system. I imagine buys and sells, transfers, all that the tax stuff changes it probably a whole bunch.
So let me just hang on. Can this?
That's another question too. Governance stuff. So is there going to be like a platform for that eventually that y'all are putting out to make votes on things or whatever sort of governance stuff? What is that?
For sure. Like? Yep. Definitely. So there's a thing called a governor contract. It's a standard contract that's used by a lot of protocols throughout crypto. If you're familiar with Open Zeppelin, they build a lot of the standard contracts and things like that for ERC20 tokens and whatever. So we'll utilize their contracts. So they're tried and tested contracts. We've just got to build the pretty front end so that people can vote and things like that. And it'll be, if you're familiar with, say, how Railgun handles their voting, and MakerDAO was like this as well, where it's not like someone puts up a vote and says, everyone come and vote on this, and then someone's got to go and do the work. When you put up a proposal, what you actually do is you submit the changes you want to see in the contracts. So that can be from just flicking this, like calling a function and flicking a setting, or to more advanced stuff. But then people basically say, okay, we're going to send this code to the blockchain. That's our proposal. Everyone votes on it, and as soon as everyone votes and it's approved, then that gets executed on the chain. So it's proper, I guess, a proper DAO from that perspective, where it's when you vote and it's approved, the change happens. Yeah, so there's a lot of, when you're doing that sort of level of governance, you've got to get it right. So we don't want to rush that. We want to make sure we get that right, because you need a good distribution of token holders, because if you have that in the wrong hands, that's a lot of power you're giving to people. So you've got to be pretty particular in making sure you're at the right stage of the protocol to do that. If you bring up that share I've got there, mate, I can show you the dashboard. So this is our dashboard, and what we're looking at here is you've got the Vouch side and you've got the liquid staking side. So we've got a few metrics for both of those. I guess the two cool things I like are the revenue generated. So this is one of those revenue streams from the token fees. So that comes about by all the volume on the trading and between the different liquidity pairs we've got set up. So we force arbitrage opportunities between all those liquidity pairs. So as the arb bots are picking up inefficiencies in the market, it's generating fees for the system. And then on the other side of the equation, we've got the revenue that's generated from the validators. And to date, that's pretty quiet. Like, the chain has been super quiet since we've launched. You know what it's been like the last few weeks is the activity's been really subdued. Price has been subdued on most of the assets on PulseChain. So we haven't actually seen that side of the protocol rev up yet. When it gets going, some of the fees that are generated through all the priority fees, they're pretty substantial. So yeah, I'm looking forward to when we see a little bit of activity on the chain, a lot more activity on the chain, and people are sending all those priority fees around the place. That's going to be interesting to watch. But both sides of the system feed off of each other. The burn that I mentioned we're doing is quite aggressive, so that is burning through that at quite a rate of knots. So we've been going 4 weeks and we've burnt 2% of the supply, a bit over it. So that's we think we've
45% like annual burn rate. Is that what that statistics there says?
What that's saying is, so of our two revenue streams, so both of those revenue streams are combined and they jump down into that distribution layer that I mentioned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so what that's saying is 45% of the total revenue that's coming into the distribution layer is getting directed towards buy and burn. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's that's a reasonably aggressive buy and burn. So I'll walk you through some of the other cool things. So as that, like I said, those two revenue streams.
Like if you keep it at 2, if it's like 2% so far, and we haven't really, and that'd probably increase with more volume on chain, I imagine.
Yeah.
So over 4 weeks so far? So like that's more like a 25% burn rate at current rate of like on over a year, like 25% over the year. Yeah, annually. That's pretty hefty burn. I mean, it could and it could be a bunch more than that too if things start to kick off.
So one of the important things that I missed when I was sort of showing you the diagram before, Vouch isn't mintable anymore. So the whole supply was created at launch. So from this point on, it's deflationary in nature. And even when we do a buy and burn, as the name suggests, we buy that up off the market and burn it. When we do a distribution out to Vouch holders for more Vouch, we buy it off the market, send it out. So there's no, it's not like like those incentive type tokens you get on like a cake token or something like that, where it's infinitely
it's going to be minted forever.
Yeah, that's right. That's not how it works. So so that's why the buy and burn's pretty important, and that's why like something as aggressive as that is it's taken a lot of supply from the market that's never going to come back. So 45% goes to the buy and burn, but everything that drops down into this distribution layer, we carve that up. So we've got at the moment 25% of that is going to create those community validators. 15% is going back to what we call the liquid staking fee pool, and that goes back to all the VPulse holders. So if you're holding VPulse, you're getting that increases your yield. So when we see a lot of volume on the Vouch token, the yield on for VPulse holders goes through the roof. It's crazy. We got up to, I had to actually wind it back. It got up to 40% over the last few weeks. So we had to sort of rebalance the system a bit. It was crazy. Yeah, these ones here, these are minor ones, just like a safety fund, a bit of a treasury fund, and this just pays gas fees in the system. The thing that most people like looking at are the rewards pools. So we have 3 rewards pools. So I mentioned we can deal with 3 different tokens: the Vouch token, the VPulse token, or the Pulse token. So at the moment, 50% of the total revenue hitting the distribution layer drops down into this Vouch pool. And that's where so that 50% is then further carved up to do that buy and burn. So that 45% you can see at the top, and 5% is going out to Vouch holders. And then same here, 4.2% drops into this bucket, and we're not doing any buy and burns on that one. We're just sending that straight out to Vouch holders. So they're getting their distributions of VPulse. So that's the various buckets that we have in the system, and the way we can sort of carve it up and send it out.
Cool. Yeah. So like about 9% or so right now is going to holders of those for those 2 at least of those that.
9% of the revenue generated. Yeah. Now how that works out in terms of an APR, well, that's
who knows. That's not too hard math here. We can do that later.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we're in a pretty quiet period at the moment. Like, we've been swimming upstream for the last 4 weeks because we launched pretty much as everything was tanking.
Right around the top. I mean, you guys were kind of the thing that was moving in the opposite direction for that minute, though. I mean, there's some good hype and
there's some hype in that. Exactly, it was something new. It would have been nice to been going with the current at the same time as that, but hey, that's life. You don't get to choose when you what the market's doing. Whenever
it's like, what as somebody who's this eternal optimist, I'm like, well, that's true, but you get like a lot of times you get lost in a whole bunch of other narratives all going up at the same time. Whereas like there's very few people who have been paying attention for the past month who, if they didn't know what Vouch was, they should know now. So that's nice.
Yeah.
Opportunity for some.
Yep. And we've had a nice little cool off. So there's the reversal, a little bit of a pullback that people were hoping for. So that's nice. And we're hoping now that we have that reset where we start to see a bit more capital coming to the chain in general, and see a bit of price go up on Pulse and various other assets would be nice to see.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You feel like there's some priming of some pumps going on. There's this cash that's being brought across the chain that it's just sitting around, just chilling.
Chilling.
Yep.
Just chilling. So that there's definitely some thoughts on all that in the future. I mean, I don't think it's going to chill forever.
Yeah. I think we've. I was saying today. I've actually been on 3 streams today. On RH Max at 5 o'clock this morning, and we had our DeFi Down Under had their 100th episode today, so I jumped on that. So I've done the full gamut. We've covered the full gamut today. But we're saying I don't think you can skip, because people are saying, we're going to have a blow off top by the end of the year. I'm like, I don't know if you can skip like optimism and hope and all that and just go straight into euphoria. I don't know if markets work like that. So I think we've got to have that later.
I agree. I feel like things are, and I've been one of the biggest proponents of just like, just follow the thing. So this Christmas is a pretty good time, but like seeming every day seems more and more like things are going to be a little more extended than expected. A little more, maybe a lot more, but
and I think the crowd rarely gets it right.
This is true. This is true. Yeah, and I mean, for what that's worth, I mean, I feel like we're in a good position. So yeah, I'm excited to see what's coming.
Yeah, one of my morning reads is just like this newsletter from a traditional market chartist, and if you know the guy, it's really funny, but the title of it is called "Everybody's Wrong," and he's a contrarian, obviously, and he will spell out how the crowd, takes one side and he wants the other side, and oftentimes it works out. It doesn't work out all the time, but contrarian indicators, they exist for a reason, and this could very well be one of those.
If you're going to be that sort of participant in a market, you've got to be prepared to be wrong for a long time while the market figures this shit out.
But you can be more right in the end, and that's It's like the game is about managing wins and losses and making sure that your wins are bigger than the losses. Like nobody ever goes undefeated, and if they say they are, they're flat out lying to you.
Sure.
But it's making those wins rack up and stack up more than your share of losses. Big K, you were going to say something.
I was just saying that we know all about waiting.
2 more weeks, years.
We've definitely been contrarian, that's for sure, because we're
super contrarian, super patient.
X and PulseChain community members are the ultimate contrarians. We are the contrarian chain.
Yeah. Maybe that's what needs to go out on those tablets.
Yeah. Be the underdogs. I'm excited. I think that there is a lot of cool stuff coming, and it might be at the right time. Hopefully, Downtember here is over, and Uptober will be next. Let's all hope for. See how that goes.
I'm going to bring up a couple more questions we have here in the chat to wrap up this Vouch segment. Again, we have hundreds of people on X and not as many on YouTube, so come on over if you have a question. Speaking of those questions, Hexmol asks, are there situations where you can get more V-Pulse than you started with by compounding the pulse yield?
That's a really cracker question. So if you're a normal validator, if you're a what we call a solo validator, you've got to put up your 32 million pulse. So you put that, you stake it on a validator, and you get a feed of pulse come back in every day. And if you've got a whole bunch of validators, that's great. You might scrape in enough pulse where you can then get enough to stake on another validator. If you aren't lucky enough to be running hundreds of validators, that can take a long time to get enough rewards in pulse to then go back and effectively compound it. So take your pulse and put it into another validator. The cool thing with Vouch is we've got a pool of pulse that everyone puts into. So as soon as you put your pulse into that pool, you are now benefiting from the whole pool. You don't have to wait or anything. So you hold the V-Pulse token in your wallet, and as the validators, every day they produce more pulse, it goes into that pool. That means instantly it can get put to work by more validators coming and picking up and staking it on the chain. So effectively, from the pulse staker's point of view, if you put your pulse in and get your V-Pulse, it's auto compounding for you. So you don't have to do anything else. So the system acts like it's auto compounding. So every day more pulse will come into the system that can get put to work, as we've shown you with all the different flows that we have through the system. So yeah, that's one of the unique things about being in a pool style, is that you do get that auto compounding effect. And I won't say too much more about what we're coming out, but there's probably other things that are going to be additive to that as well.
But I think what they're trying to ask is if they can game the system to somehow get more V-Pulse than what
we're gaming it for you.
Compounds. That's exactly. But and I would say to them, if they are trying to do that, then if they already had V-Pulse and got themselves a Vouch airdrop, then you can do that by taking your Vouch distribution rewards and turning that back into more VPulse. That would be a way that but that's kind of off of your Vouch, that's off of another token. So like it's not getting game.
I wouldn't be getting rid of my Vouch to do that.
No, but you do get some of the rewards that you get could be paid out in VPulse too, right, from your Vouch distribution.
Yeah, that's right.
So if you're holding your Vouch, then you might get more VPulse from holding it, and as that goes on, you could compound more. So
that's the cool thing, is we're also doing the auto compound. So we could have, if you're a Vouch holder and we give out Vouch tokens, that's cool. You're getting something of value from that. But if we were to give you Pulse, then you could have done two things. You could go and buy more Vouch, or you could go and put it into the liquid staking protocol to get more VPulse. Yeah. So we figured, well, why do that? Let's just give you the VPulse, because that means you don't have to worry about that. And same with the Vouch. Like, we're just going to the system is going to buy it off the market and give it to you anyway. So you don't have to do anything. It's taking care of all the compounding for you.
And as far as sell pressure goes over the long term, like, I think it's better to give people something that's going to take them a few days to unstake, possibly if there's not a pool already available of it, which, is a small bit, but it's better if someone's planning on selling, I think.
Yep.
Some other protocols that do that too. I believe Fame might be one. So there's like a holding period, which makes sense.
Like a cool down period.
Yep.
Sounds
yeah,
like
you're idea. Like, hey, listen, just take a second, think about it.
Think about this.
You sure?
Yeah. That sounds like a good idea, and it sounds like something we should think about implementing.
All right. Responsive founding. I love it. Another question. I guess this was a follow-up. Maybe you already hit on it. What incentivizes the staking Pulse over just buying VPulse from market?
Depends on the size you're wanting to buy.
That's I bet there's some slippage if you probably are moving too much.
Right. Yeah. Now over time, as more people put their, hang on, let's take a step back. You can go provide liquidity. If you hold Pulse and VPulse, they're a good thing to put into a liquidity pool, because they're paired together, and if Pulse goes up in price, VPulse will go up in price with it. But over time, VPulse incrementally gets worth more than your Pulse. So they're a good thing to have in a liquidity pool, because there's very little impermanent loss. So you get the benefit of any trading fees, but the tokens are going to sort of move in unison. So you're not going to get offside too much in any way. Now, that being said, the amount of people that are providing liquidity as a percentage of the whole, I think there's, I don't know, I'd have to look at it. Hang on, I'll tell you. I think there's like 100,000. So roughly about 100,000 of liquidity on the VPulse Pulse pool. So if you went in to go buy a big bunch of VPulse, you would take that slippage. So in that instance, you'd be better off just minting it from the system. Same goes with selling. You can sell into the pools as well, but and it's only a small amount, that's fine to do. But if you're trying to move larger amounts, you wouldn't do it on market, not when the protocol does it all for you.
Yeah, you're gonna basically, from what I'm looking at in liquidity, if you do like $5,000 worth of Pulse to VPulse in the liquidity pools right now, you're gonna pay 3 or 4%, in slippage. Yeah. So you're much better off just getting the VPulse yourself through the protocol.
Yeah, or if you're really patient, you could nibble at the pool, because as soon as someone sells it down,
I'm sure there's some moments of some wicks that are there when people do silly things.
Yeah, I've had there's been, I don't know why people would choose to do it, but I've seen some people just come and sell their VPulse. Yeah, and I'm like, why? Like, you could have just went to the protocol and done it.
Yeah, they're in a hurry and they don't know how it works and they don't care.
Yeah,
they're just like, give me my money now. Okay,
there's a lot of that in crypto.
Yeah, but in saying that, that's what VPulse is designed for. So if you put your Pulse into the system and you get your VPulse, that's the whole liquid component of it. You do whatever the hell you want to do with your VPulse. If you want to go and degen into some other token, you can sell it like any other ERC20 token. So that's the beauty of the liquid component.
Yes.
We're talking a little liquidity pooling action. Hans asks, is there a pool on PHUX for all 3 liquid staking coins together? Could be really cool.
Certainly is. That's been up for a long time. Yeah, that's been there. I don't know what sort of liquidity is in there, but yeah, that's been around for a long time. I'm not sure if there's any of the other stables like is it CST, the Coast one? I'm not sure if that's in there as well. Yeah. So there may be a few other pairings like that. I know there's another one, the ST5 pool as well. So yeah, there's a few different ones kicking around there that you can be a part of.
Another one from Hexmol. If too many people just market by V Pulse, is there incentive to go and deposit real Pulse into staking to get V Pulse for cheaper than you can buy off market?
Yep. So that's an ARB opportunity. Yep. That happens. I see that all the time. As soon as there's a slight imbalance between those figures, and I don't know if someone's got a bot running that's doing that. But yeah, any ARBs like that get very quickly adjusted. But if you're lucky enough to grab one, by all means do it. I check it all the time, and even when I sit there and I go, oh look, it seems like it's a fair way out. When I go actually do the numbers and have a look at the buying and what would happen, it's very efficient, that ARB between those 2 pairs. Like it gets brought back into balance real quick. So that opportunity doesn't exist very often.
And the last but not least, from Retrostatic, have you done any simulations where all the distribution rewards goes to building community validator as Pulse is cheap?
No, I haven't sort of played it out. Like, there's just so many moving parts that you'd have to try and account for. What we do find at the moment is volume generated on Vouch is really good for creating the community validators. So like the volume that gets moved around generates a lot of revenue for the system. So at the moment, we think we're better off waiting the buy and burns to support Vouch, because if that keeps the volume alive there, then everyone benefits anyway. And that lets us generate a lot of community validators. I think we've fired up something like 250 community validators since we launched, or something, since Vouch launched the token.
There's nothing that's like pooled in rewards that, like, there's no way that, like, if you did something like that where you did all community validators and there ended up being a much larger percentage of community validators than even vPulse validator holder, like, actual holders. Is there some, if that happened, there's no rewards that, like, it's not like everyone else's would have reduced like validator rewards from that or anything. It's not, they couldn't run it.
No, everyone benefits. Yeah, everyone's
exactly.
still.
Yeah, everyone's just basically it's better overall, really. So
So what's really good is so everyone's benefiting from those rewards in the system. The more validators that come in, the rewards are pretty consistent. What's really cool though is the priority fees. So if you've got a bigger army of validators, and it doesn't matter whether they're the native ones or the community ones, if we're producing more blocks, then that's more rewards coming into the system. So I think at the moment we would produce probably 1 in every 10 blocks or something like that. So every time that ticks, we're pretty much in line to get a block production, which is pretty unique to be in that position this early on PulseChain. Because if we get anything close to doing what Ethereum does, like if you're a validator on Ethereum, it's very rare you get to produce a block. So yeah, we're very early to the game here on PulseChain. If you're around now, like before PulseChain really gets any sort of significant adoption, and you're part of this system, or you're running validators yourself, you're in a pretty unique spot.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like validator right now is like right at $1,000, with the Pulse. It's it's still pretty super reasonable. I can
if we just get back up to where we were when we first launched, that even then that was starting to get pretty pricey to fire up any number of validators, like
5,000-ish bucks or so, or something like that. Almost.
Yeah. Yep.
So it gets to be. I mean, I can remember being a part of a lot of like master node-y kind of stuff back in the day, and like there's always, like the chain volume and like whatever was going on would like based on like, because people were back then were just farming the shit. They didn't care what the didn't really matter the project. It was all forks of like chain coin or whatever anyways. And so you'd see people like there'd be a level, where like if validators were under 10 grand, then you'd see a lot of growth in the system, but as soon as validators got like a split over 5 grand, over 10 grand, over 15 grand, whatever, to have a master node or whatever, then you'd see a lot of the traffic and movement and everything drop off. It was real hard to like get to that Dash level of like $1 million validator.
I was going to say Dash, yeah, because that was I always remember back in the day it cost $1 million to run a node.
Yeah, to run a node on that. And that was like, everyone else is just, dreaming of that, trying to get there. And like, I felt like every time there would be this like plateau where once you get past 20,000 validators, your $20,000 validator cost, like everybody stopped wanting to play. They're like looking for the next, this one's $50 and start there,
I mean, I can't believe how expensive it is on ETH right now. Like that's,
crazy. 32 ETH that's a lot of dough right now.
A lot of dough. What's that, 120 grand or something?
Yeah, but I will say that like, they have come out with so many different like small timey ETH, maneuvers. You can get a 8 ETH validator pool with Rocket Pool. You can do a 4 ETH validator pool. Like you can do these smaller ones where you're still getting pretty decent rewards plus all their whatever third-party tokens they're giving out to, that make it extra sweet. So it's not like, because of that tech that's out there, it still is letting people play. I think there's even a 2 ETH validator one, which is still, like I said, I mean, like just to participate with that is a lot, so because the rewards are very different based on like if you're just like going through Lido, you're getting a lot less than you'd be getting if you're in one of these like the actual pools. And
I think that's like we'll end up with a mix of stuff like that on PulseChain. I hope we do. Like that's a sign of a healthy network when you've got all those different, when you can support that many different protocols and that many different schemes of how to participate. That means that you've been successful.
Because each one speaks differently to somebody else. Somebody likes this one's versus that one. Some people love the Rocket Pool thing where they lock up their other token, whatever. Some people love, just straight leaving it on, Coinbase and getting their 3% or whatever, 2% or whatever. So I can't fault anybody, and
and so
and of course someone just here for the tech.
Yeah, and he's just he's everywhere. I don't think he sleeps. He was on a stream with me a couple of hours ago. And ETH just done some upgrades as well, where they changed the rules so you can either go down as low as 1 ETH or as high as 2,000 ETH on a validator now. So they've recognised that you need to be able to do that. We're a couple of upgrades behind ETH, so we don't see those sorts of things yet, but maybe one day.
At opportune times, perhaps. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, so someone was asking me, do you think we'll ever see like PulseX V3 pools and things like that? I said, maybe in good time, but we don't need them at the moment. when we've made use of the ones we've got, then yeah, maybe we'll see those come up.
Nice little bridge upgrade.
Oh man, that caused some chaos, didn't it?
Yeah. I don't know about it. I think that you might never I have a feeling that in Richard's perfect world, and we don't ever see V3 stuff on PulseX, and you see other people build it out. And we already have some of it, and I think that more cleaner options that are like going to actually pool good liquidity together, I think will come. Will be there eventually, and people will use them. I mean, they're already there is some already. Like people that know what they're doing can use 9mm or whatever. There's some options, but
Well, I just don't think I think the V2 pools are there to serve a purpose, and that purpose isn't complete yet. So once that purpose is done, then maybe like you say, that doesn't stop anyone else building that tech.
No, but I don't think. But you're right. I think that the V2 pools serve a purpose, and at the moment they're the highest. They're going to stay the highest liquidity on the chain, and allow us to ideally move, up in a uniform fashion. It's a little more different with large pools on V3.
That's right. Yeah, it's not as predictable.
Yep.
And I think we need predictable at the moment.
I do like some surprises, but yes, when it comes to many things,
good surprises, Cabana. I like good surprises.
Predictable surprises.
I like when it comes to finance, some predictability is very much appreciated.
Yeah, I feel you there.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Well, gents, I want to thank you both for hopping on this evening, Jexxa, and this morning, Big K.
Yeah.
And thanks to everybody in the chat. I mean, we are on X. We're on the YouTubes. A lot of people on X. I appreciate everybody coming over to ask their questions on YouTube so we could pull them up live while I could see them. I mean, let's, been doing this lately. To leave on a good note, is there anybody in the community that you would like to shout out for doing good? Big K, we can start with you.
Man, you put me right on the spot.
Did.
Whoever sent me this super cool tablet, they're doing great. They're super neat people. I don't know who they are, what
I have an idea
what kind of vans they're driving around or anything, but I really like their free candy. So keep it coming, guys. I'm thrilled with that.
To the candy van, Big K. All right.
The candy van.
I'll give my shout out. Yeah, I'll give my shout out to the people that are behind the scenes. So all the nerds that are running all the validators that in the Pulse Dev chat. That's a good group of people in there. They're all very supportive. You've got guys like Gamma who, without the stuff that Gamma does on chain, we wouldn't have a lot of the cool RPCs and all the nerdy stuff that people just take for granted. He's doing a lot of cool stuff in the background. So many other people I could mention on that as well. A lot of the teams that are out there in a public, they all pitch in. I needed some infrastructure built, and the Power City guys helped with some of that as well. So there's shout out to all the nerds that are in the basements doing all the tech stuff that sort of don't get the limelight on X and probably don't want the limelight on X. But there's a lot of those guys out there that are making the chain successful for everyone to come and play on.
Outstanding. I believe Big K was a nerd in a basement at one point.
I was a nerd in a basement at one point. I mean, I still love to be one and pretend, but it's pretend now, you know. It's not like it's you know, it's not out of full on necessity anymore. You know, it's for the love of the game. You know, so and like and more than that is that same thing. I want to give all those hard workers credit because like I've been there deep in the mines in one form or another, developing stuff or building hardware. All that is rigorous, tough, and especially when we're on, you know, you're out here building the forefront of this chain, you know, I'm sure there's lots of things that come up that you guys have had to solve along the way, and I'm stoked for it. I'm like thoroughly indebted to all that because when I show up here, you know, and sit down here and then click some buttons over here, it all mostly fucking works, you know. So like there's very little that I have issues with, and that's awesome. That and like I've had to do less hard work in that regard than you know, a lot of other times in my life because of, you know, so much appreciate all that.
We see what happens when the nerds have a holiday. You can't connect to the bridge.
Yeah, things break.
Yeah, at a wonderful time, by the way, when bringing in new users. One of the easiest ways to get on chain is like you said, somebody went on holiday.
But from that though, did you learn a few other cool tools that you could use?
Absolutely.
Yes, there's faster ones out there than the standard bridge, and most people I find, like, I'm not saying that the bridge isn't great. Love the bridge all day, but people like things fast, and they get all quaky in their little boots when it takes more than, I don't know, 17 and a half seconds to have anything anymore. So like as soon as you're like 5 minutes for whatever, you just like, people start feeling very nervous, you know, and they just don't participate. So like things that are out there like you know, Ramp Now, Change Now, Liberty Swap, Coast, 0x Coast, all these things. If there's other ones that I'm forgetting right off the top of my head, Portal X, whatever other ways to get in are super awesome. Love you guys. Thank you for doing that, because like we need that, and like the faster the better. You know, the Liberty Swap dudes have, you know, created quite a machine to do what they do. You know, I imagine that doing a lot of what they do to the hands-on degree that they have to has been very difficult work, if not time consuming, and then they also manage to whoever their media outreach team is, whoever's running the Twitter's accounts over there, they put out content. Man, they are pumping out the content. It's impressive, you know. So
they're on point. That whoever's doing that deserves a raise.
Well, they're all over the place. So sometimes I feel like they're totally on point. Sometimes I'm like, you guys are really trying out here. But like they're doing it, you know? Because like here's the thing: is to follow every meme cycle means that like at some point in time you're gonna be balls deep in a bunch of meme things that you're like, what even is all of this? You know, like what the fuck are these you know? And like that happens, you know, like what is the joke here even? You know, like, and you before you know it, you know, that's all over, and then you're on to the next cycle of, you know, crazy shit. So like it's a constant surfing battle for them, and like good Godspeed to those cats that are running all that, because I like, you know, I'll dig in and fight in the trenches for a little bit, but like I don't live there, guys, you know. I not live in the trenches, so good luck with that.
We got a solid community. Just need some green cannons behind everyone, and it'll unite everyone. It's good.
Yes,
good day.
Its own perpetual marketing once that begins. So I'll just do a quick shout out to founders out there, and you know, like a builder, like, you know, one I know personally is Brandon from Build a Tech. You know, the founders keep founding, and there's more stuff that's coming, and guys like Brandon and his team keep building. So raise my glass to you, all of you, including Jexxa.
Indeed.
Thank you.
All right, gents. Well, been close to about 90 minutes. I'm sure Jexxa is looking forward to some sleep.
Yes.
I'm just glad that you guys were flexible enough to change it to the morning. That helped a lot. So I appreciate that. That was nice.
Well,
of course.
I appreciate
like
you
I said,
coming
gave me a good excuse for a little glass of Bailey's this morning. I feel fresh and ready for the rest of the day. It's upward and onward from here,
You're just going to go lay on the beach now and just get sunburned.
I actually have some things to do, annoyingly enough. But maybe this afternoon I'll have
Speak
some
for yourself, Big K. I'm headed right out there.
Yeah, well, enjoy, sir. Enjoy.
Actually, I could have done it out there, but I haven't done a beach stream in a while. Maybe I need to bring that back. But the tech is more accessible and easier and trustworthy to use in here. But I've figured it out plenty of times out there, so maybe we'll do it here in the coming months. Yeah. Thank you, everybody in the chat. The hundreds and hundreds of people who are watching, mostly on X, but I appreciate all y'all came over to YouTube to ask your questions here. The OGs that see a few of y'all who have been here for years in this chat, and everybody was in that Spaces yesterday. That was pretty cool. So Empress ran a cool Spaces, and
I've got to go back and watch that. I've heard a lot of people talk that up.
Yeah, a lot of familiar faces and education going on in there. So it's like if you're friendly to people, and especially people who are wanting and willing to learn, man, I've said it before, I'll say it again. X Spaces are the place to go. I mean, it's a vast new audience pool out there, and good on Fast Abdul, who's like Jexxa said, he's in pretty much everything. He was in that chat helping it move along, and I think I saw Toby Wan in there and RH Max and a bunch of old school players. So that being said, the drill. Big K, where can we find you?
You can find me here. You can find me on Twitter, on Telegram at Big Kurkowski. And that's it for now. Let's do a happy hour soon. I'm down for another in a couple weeks.
At our normal time, but
at a normal time. This is
I gotta say, like,
this is the pre-happy hour.
This is pretty much a happy hour. This feels like a happy hour. So I'm down for ideally as more fun stuff comes out. Hopefully we can do some more, because I think that there's going to be a lot of cool stuff coming up. So yeah, I'm here. I'm here for it all. I mean, let's go.
Outstanding. Jexxa, where can we find you, sir?
On X at J_Jexxa, like it's got on the screen there. Everything Vouch. We've made it nice and simple. Go to vouch.run. From that page, you can jump to every corner of our ecosystem. You can find that dashboard. You can find out how to buy Vouch. All the docs are there. Yeah, that's the place to go. All the socials are from there. That's all the safe links, guys. So now more than ever, go to places where you can use safe links.
100%. And even RH posted a nice little thing. I guess it was a few days ago. Just like, again, beware of scam links, calling out search engines for still posting scam stuff. Yeah.
There's so many different scams that are out there. I mean, I was just in a chat talking to somebody who they're explaining a very detailed scam, like trading platform scam. I actually just got a call from a friend of mine, who was like, thought he had a job for the past 2 weeks and pulled out a bunch of money. It was a full get you deep in, and then they like rug pulled his ass, and and I'm just heartbreaking, So like, there's no shortage of ways to screw people, and if you don't know better in crypto, like, I would highly suggest just them putting it out there, in a group with other people that have some insight in this, because people that have been doing this a lot longer will tell you something's a scam, way faster than you might notice, and just like, it's crazy, because sure, you're alone on a computer, but in reality, having friends and talking to people is like the best way to really like do crypto, is like talk to people who are knowledgeable about this shit, because like you will get screwed if you do not do that. Just putting it out
there. We haven't even seen peak hunting season yet. I remember what it was like for the top of last cycle. People were just getting taken for way too much money.
All sorts of ways, heartbreaking ways. I mean, I'm sure we all saw cancer kid that got recently washed, and then like people came together and helped that kid out. But like, you see that whole thing in Solana land that was heartbreaking to see. You know, it's just like there's no shortage of it, and scammers have zero heart. They will literally steal the last cent from a dying cancer patient. So like, they do not care about you or your problems or your wallets or anything. You know.
Yep.
So, you know, just keep your private keys to yourself, please.
100%. Well, that was a nice little PSA to end on.
Sorry for the PSA.
I think we've had 3 goes at saying goodbye.
Yeah, but all very informative and useful. You know, no matter who's out there.
It feels fresh. So you know, I'm glad to get it out there.
All right. Well, we will officially end it this time. Thank you to Jexxa and Big K.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
For hopping on all around the world. You know, it is technically, you know, halfway happy hour, I guess, right now, if we split, you know, the time difference. And yeah, thank you to everybody in the chat. Everybody is on X and YouTube. You even have like a couple on one on Twitch. Who's watching on Twitch? But good to have you. Till next time, stay tuned to the socials. Cabana Crypto right there. Mainly I play around on Insta, but mainly on X if you want to know when Big K and I'll do a show again, which hopefully is sooner than later. And yeah, thanks everybody, and we will see you next time. So cheers.